Yo, what's up? It's your boy, Sir, CEO of the 2020 Podcast LLC, aka Kimbo Slice Lookalike for now, but that's until I get my retwist done. But we like to introduce you to another episode of Squad Goals. And on this episode, this will be discussing colorism. And with that being said, this was a topic brought to us by my brother, Eterniti himself. And so with that being said, I'm going to hand it off to him.
Thank you, good sir. Good evening, Squad Goals. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. So, I wanted to talk about this topic mostly because we often see these disparaging differences within our community when it comes to colorism. For those who don't know what colorism is, essentially it's just discrimination within one's own race, showing bias towards someone for their complexion being a certain way, whether it be, less melanin than one or the other, we are all black people. And I think it's really ultimately a time for colorism to stop. But I can't help but to notice how there's like that split divide where they talk about dark skinned women are not protected as so, or they're not held on such a pedestal or a standard of beauty, quote unquote, as like a light skinned sister, red bone, yellow bone, something like that. You know what I'm saying? Just a woman that's fairer in complexion. But then it's on the flip side, it's the dark skinned tall brother that is celebrated, and the light skinned man is looked at as someone who is weaker or inferior because of the complexion of their skin. So I thought this would be a good topic to tackle. And I just kind of want to hear what everybody else had to say. And I can just kind of toss my 2 cents in at the end. So um, since you've heard from two guys, where are my ladies at? I want to go to Lauren first. Lauren, are you available?
Hey y'all.
All right, take it away, dear.
Okay, so for me, this is a tough topic, mainly because I have been dealing with it my whole life. I was always the you pretty for a black girl, or you're pretty for a dark skinned girl, or I didn't know dark skinned girls can do this, or I didn't know dark skinned girls could do that, or I would always get overlooked. Well, I guess for being, I was the one cool with the guys. They didn't want to talk to me. They wanted to talk to my light skinned friends, and that actually just pushed me to start dating outside of my race, because it wasn't that I was also getting it from light skinned men. I started getting it from people who look just like me, dark skinned guys that look just like me. So I started to embrace other races who love black women, dark skinned women at that, because, to them, they saw me as the queen that I was, outside of what I dealt with in my own race. So ultimately, me, I literally only would date dark skin or outside of my race. I never dated a light skinned guy, because every light skinned guy I've dated, I've had a bad experience with. But as I got older, I just didn't find an attraction to lighter skinned guys because of all of the stuff that I went through. And I typically didn't really talk to a lot of light skinned girls at one point in my life because of all the jokes and all of the stuff that they used to say to me. But I just kind of just stopped caring after a point. But yeah, hence I married outside of my race. I guess it stuck with me a little bit longer than I expected, but I guess I love who I love. But I don't have that sadness anymore. But sometimes I fear, because my kids are darker skinned. One's a little bit lighter, the other one is dark. So I kind of fear that they'll go through that as well. That's all I have. Sorry, I can't be visualized. You can't see me right now. I'm all knee deep in hair color.
I know you good. Why you want to tune in?
Yeah. So as far as that's concerned, like I didn't really. Well, I got more of it when I went to college. You know what I mean? Because I went to a predominantly like white high school, so black people just had to stick together. You know what I mean? But like I got it more like, and I hate that whole like, you know, like light skinned guys are more sensitive and things like that, and they always have like that Prince meme or something like that, like how light skinned guys act. Me personally, so the one thing that I like dating dark skinned women. To be honest with you, it was kind of instilled in me with my aunt, because my aunt was really dark skinned, and she ran into those issues, and so she was always saying like, make sure you find you a dark skinned woman that's nice, that does right, whatever. And like that was one of the things that like I really appreciate. So I mean, I just I could tell from her that she had those kinds of experiences where they felt like they weren't good enough, or sometimes like you're said that you're not black enough just because you're light skinned and things like that. So or like we have it easier because of the fact that we're light skinned versus we go through the same struggles that everybody else does. So like to me it's kind of stupid, you know what I mean? Like I don't really think of it as much, but I know it's brought up sometimes. But yeah, that's my thing. I don't like it. We got enough trouble being black in America, and we don't have to worry about. We shouldn't have to make more trouble for ourselves.
Just kind of piggyback off of what you were saying, Wyatt. I also think that I was always told that we tend to grow up attracted to the type of women that we are around. Um, so if you grow up and the majority of the women that surround you are fair skin, to brown skin, as opposed to darker skinned women, if you've seen that for the majority of your life, then your ideas of beauty have kind of been cultivated on what you've been around, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
And so I definitely understand that part where you was talking about, as far as like um your aunt, and with her being fair skinned, I've noticed unintentionally I have a type. Like every woman I've ever been in a serious relationship with have all been brown skin, natural, like natural hair women, and they all are right. They like slim thick. Like I don't know what it is. I just seem to always fall into that trap. Like I can be attracted to plenty of women, but it's something about that. Yeah. Anyway, back to the colorism issue. So I want to shoot it to you, man. I want to hear what you got to say on this topic.
So I'm gonna be honest. I'm guilty. I am extremely guilty. It being in a fraternity, we had a broad spectrum of brothers, but dark skin outnumbered light skin, and we used to like crack jokes about it here and now and again. Where if one of the light skinned bros say something, not I don't want to say sensitive, but say something like near and dear emotional, we'd be like, "How very light skinned of you," like stuff like that. And it was a playful jesting. But as time went forward and you saw more memes of it, and I guess, and I hate to say this, but the more and more you hear more women say, oh, it's nothing like a tall, dark-skinned man, you know what I'm saying, that really just, And I've actually heard women talk and say, you know what, he's cute, but he's light-skinned, so don't really do it for me. And it's cool to have preference, but I feel like that shouldn't be your preference, you know what I'm saying? Like, of all things, being lighter, though, so I'm guilty of it, man, and it goes back to the point that there's a bit of truth in every joke, and so we joke about this being a issue, and you see the memes and like Wyatt said, the exaggerated Prince comparisons, and yeah, I'm guilty of it, and I'm trying to be better about it because my best friend is light skinned. I sound like somebody said my best friend is white, but it's really one of those things that I never want to offend my brother to the point where he feels uncomfortable with something I said. So we've actually had this conversation before. So that's what really brought it to my eyes. It was like, wow, this is really, really a thing. I thought it was, it would be like water on a duck's back. It would just roll off. But if you hear something for so long, it bothers you. You know what I'm saying? And it bothers you more if it comes from someone who loves you, who's your brother. So I'm just trying to be more conscious of it. And for Black women, bruh, 2020, I'm going to be real with y'all. 2020 has been really interesting for me because it's really opened up my eyes to where I was really ignorant to the plight of women. where it comes from abuse, when it comes to being feeling not protected, when it comes to feeling like they're ostracized. I'm seeing it now. I don't know if it has to do with being in this COVID pandemic situation or just these blatant, examples of colorism. It just is eye-opening. And I'm like, wow, I'm 33 now and I'm just now getting it. Like I feel ashamed, and yet I feel like I need to hold others accountable as well. I feel like we need to make it the new standard. So hence why I wanted to hand this topic off to you, brother, because this has also affected you. You know what I'm saying? So I want to give you the platform to discuss this and really be the forefront of this, because I'm a transgressor. I've done it. So, I have to sit back at the back of the church on this one, bro.
I think truthfully, we all have done it. Um, and I mean, it kind of goes back to what you're talking about preference, especially in dating. Um, I can, I tell you that we talk about colorism, but we also don't talk about the stigmas that surround colorism too. Like dark skinned women are mean. Like all dark skinned women are mean. Which isn't true, but I do know some mean ones. I'm just throwing that in the bucket. But I mean, not all dark skinned, women. Danae says I do the light skin face when I take pictures. So, that's like when you get ready to pose, you're like, you gotta do something with your lip or something. It's always the light skin face. They say dark skinned dudes don't make that face, which is a lie because I have definitely seen it before. Um, but just talking, you say that's so hurtful. Well, I mean, just being serious, like that is how it's just little nuances like that I think you hear over and over again. And I think it's time that we just kind of, open up and talk more about it. I'm gonna shoot it over to Ebony so we can hear from the ladies again.
Hey everybody. Um, well, I was just sitting kind of thinking about what all of you guys are saying. Uh, I do agree. I have done it. I can remember always saying that I didn't want to date a light skinned guy, but it wasn't necessarily because of his skin. It was because my dad is light skinned, and I wanted to date the very opposite of what my dad was. So if there was a guy that physically had a trait that reminded me of my father, it was usually the skin tone that caught my attention first. So I never wanted to date anybody that had his skin tone. And when I got a little older, I realized that my granddad was more of a father to me than my dad, and he was also light skinned. So that stigma started to show light in my eyes about some of the things that I would do self-consciously, and I've kind of gotten out of that. But even there were comments I would make before I had kids that I always wanted chocolate babies. I didn't want to date anybody because I wanted the deep chocolate skin that I have. I want to make sure I share that and keep that legacy going. But like I said, my granddaddy was white. Was light skinned. So if I could come out chocolate, who's to say that a light skinned woman and a dark skinned woman and a light skinned man can't make a chocolate baby? So I've started to probably in the last 5 years kind of make way to things like that. But even like Lauren said, when I go out with my friends, it was before a certain point. It seemed like it was always the light skinned friends that got the attention, the light skinned friends that got the free drinks, the light skinned friends that got the dance. But then after, say for instance, she leave them hanging with me, we just sitting there talking. All of a sudden, he recognize my mind and understand, you know, maybe she is a little bit cooler, maybe she is my type. It took him to get to know me mentally for him to even consider me. But when it was the light skinned girl, she's so beautiful. Oh, that's wifey material right there. Oh, she gonna have my babies. But when it came to me, I was only good for the sex until he got to know my mind. So just from a personal experience, that's how I looked at it for the longest. I'm gonna be honest, I still kind of look at that like that. For some reason, it seemed like the dark-skinned sisters are the ones you stated they lurk in the shadows. But when it comes to trying to bring somebody around your mama, bring the light-skinned chick. So I'm sorry if that seemed a little judgmental, but just saying, I done seen some things, but I am in one small area, so let's not put that to every city, okay? I recognize that we're gonna play out for that. But I do believe, like you said, this is the time for that healing. This is the time for us to realize that it's not based on those values that I don't want to say values. That those traits that we were taught, because that's basically what it is. It's things that were handed down. Lauren did make a comment about it coming from slavery. Part of me feels like it could be a little bit beyond that. Actually, I feel like it goes a little bit further back than slavery, but we ain't gonna get into that. But yeah, that's how I feel, and I feel like my chocolate children are the most beautiful children in the world. So y'all can't say shit about my children.
So my mom fell in love and married a chocolate man because she said she wanted to have chocolate babies. It don't work. So I felt vindicated when my mama told me that. I was just like, why? And eventually I did get a tan. Yes, and this is me with the tan. If I could show y'all my baby pictures, I was like, I was white, like palm white. And I always think about stuff like that, especially when we talk about the whole colorism. Because I'm like, my mama almost did me. Like, my mother had no faith, like, no faith that I would get darker. She just thought I was always going to be just this little light, bright baby, which, I mean, it is what it is. But I mean, yeah, we was the same complexion. Like, how does that work? Jared, I'm sending it over to you, man. Take it off.
All right, man, what's going on? Yeah, I just want to first and foremost shout out my wife. But yeah, like everybody else, man, I done did it too. You know, my mama light skin, my daddy light skin, both of my brothers light skin, my sister light skin, my grandma, like, and then you get me. so so I actually came up with, oh, we all light skin, and it skipped over you. You know what I'm saying? And that, back then it was like, dang, man, I wish I looked like Chris Brown right about now, you know what I'm saying? But but yeah, we all guilty of it. And then so growing up, it was like, oh, I want the light skin, blah blah blah. And then as I got older, I was like, yo, the darker chicks is the most breathtaking thing in the world. And my wife is brown, she's lighter than I am. But like in time, I think we get over it, based off of, just learning and experience. We put people through it, and some of us actually go through it. And I actually do think, like Ebony said, I think it goes beyond slavery, but I also feel like it did start on that plantation. It started with the house end versus the field end. You know, that barrier of jealousy that was created amongst each other. You know, us the ones out in the field, we wanted to be in the house, and the ones in the house, they was like, y'all ain't good enough to be in here. You know what I mean? So that huge divide that came from the plantation just never went away. And I think that's a lot of where it started, and it hasn't ended because we just won't let it go. It's all about who you are. It's not about how you look. It's not about your color, but it's the music. It's what these celebs is doing. We so influenced, and honestly, and quite honestly, the white woman is the pillar of success for most Black men after they get the fame. After they bust through that threshold and they're famous and blah, 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 a lot of them break off and end up with a white woman as a trophy of success. You see what I'm saying? So we look too much at color, and it has not went away, just because we haven't let it go away. When we talk about building our credit, we say that's white people stuff. When we talk about starting a business, we say that's white people stuff. Like my wife, she has immaculate grammar, and people will tell her she talk white, but no, she just intelligent and Black. You see what I mean? Everything that's positive about life, everything that's positive about our personalities, everything positive is white. But when it's negative, when we start talking about the streets, or being too rough around the edges and stuff like that. Now things are black. So once we find a way to say, nah, she light skinned. No, let's talk first. Let's see where they at here, because it doesn't matter how good you look on the inside, you could be hideous based off of who you are. So once we build each other up, no matter what shade of it we are, because at the end of the day, when we apply for that job, we all check the same box. But once we understand that, I think we'll slowly recover from that. But we just also, like with me being brown and with Eterniti being a little lighter than myself, I'm still gonna pick him up. I'm still gonna say, "What's up, King?" I'm still gonna acknowledge him as such, even though he's a little lighter than myself. And for Ebony, I'm sure you've seen a light-skinned woman. I see you, Queen. If we can do that and make it a healthy habit instead of, man, you light-skinned, dog, you soft. If we can slowly start within ourselves, it has to start with us. We have to be the change we want to see. So if it starts with us and we start placing those compliments on the lighter shades or the darker shades and not make them feel inferior to our shade, I think we'll be heading in the right direction. And that's all I got to say.
That was very well stated, bro. Lots of knowledge in there, lots of uplifting stuff, and that is definitely what this is about. Um, I know normally we joke a lot, and I mean I don't want to be so serious, but I'm gonna tell you something that Jared said something about the European standard of beauty, and then sir, you said something about as far as being Greek and doing the different things like that, and it triggered something in me to want to ask about this. One of my favorite movies is School Days by Spike Lee. And there are a lot of colorism issues addressed in that movie. So when we were talking earlier, and you was talking about the Greek stuff, we was talking about the European standard of beauty. Good and bad hair came to mind when they were in the beauty shop, and you had the wannabes and the jigaboos. And I want to really kind of talk to. I want everybody to chime in, but I'm gonna probably send it back to Lauren first. Um, I want to hear, as a black woman, how does it make you feel when people use colorism to try to, I guess, make you feel less beautiful because of the grade of your hair or the things that appeal to you about yourself that others may try to say they don't find attractive.
So it's funny you say that because I want to go back to when you said how it's a stigmatism that dark-skinned women are mean, because that's what I've gotten my whole life. They always now I'm the most bubblyest person, literally cheerleader, walk up to me all the time, every day. That's me. But people have always felt intimidated by me because they always ask me, as far as you seem, I thought you were mean. I'm like, well, how? Because I'm the one that'll speak to you before anybody, or they would assume that it was something wrong with me because I was so happy all the time. They was like, well, why are you smiling? Like, why not? I used to get that a lot. And it's one thing you said about the attitude was me and my now husband, when we first started talking, we got into a huge argument. And I felt like it was, in a sense, it was colorism, but I felt like it was racist too, because he said, I like dark-skinned women because they're more aggressive than light-skinned women. And I didn't know how to take that, because to me, I'm like, well, what the hell does that mean? Because I'm like, what does that even mean? You're no better than a black man telling me that I'm too mean or I'm too hard or I'm too tough because I'm darker, So trust me, it took me a minute to even, he had got blocked, deleted, all of that. He took a minute to come back because I was like, look, I've been dating outside my life. My race my whole life. I didn't come to no Asian man to tell me that, I'm aggressive, then, because, of course, then we can start throwing tit for tat, but,
That's, people think Asians smart. All of them ain't smart, trust me. I know a couple of Asians. They dumber than dumb, so that's what I mean by, how people always put that colorism, stigmatism, all that on us, and I think with the hair, it's funny you asked me that because he is the one that has made me the most comfortable. And my husband is Asian. He's Thai. He's not Chinese. He's Thai and Laos. So he's more, I guess, more of the Hawaiian, Samoan side, whereas Vietnamese, I guess, if, to help people understand that. But he is the one that has made me feel most comfortable in my natural hair than anybody I've ever dated. Everybody has always tried to say, oh, you need to have on a wig, or your hair need to be straight, or you need a perm. So when you say Eterniti that you love women with natural hair, that's a shocker to me, because I've never encountered a Black man who likes it, ever. Like, ever in my life. It was always like, oh, I like your hair like that, but ooh, baby, when you straighten your hair, when you get your hair laid in that perm or that weave, oh my God, you do something to me. My husband, when I put a wig on, he was like, you cute, but I want your dreads. Like, what you doing? He loves my natural hair. So to me, I fell in love with him loving me for my natural self. And I didn't have to put on all this extra makeup or anything like that. He kind of looked at me like I'm crazy when I do, but I don't care. I got to be cute. But as far as the hair, I've always gotten that, dark-skinned girls got that. I always tell people I got in the field hair. When they try to describe, they like, you got 4C or 1C. Girl, I don't know what that means. I know that it's kinky, it's tight, and it's, I need a little water to make it curl up. I don't know what no 1, 2, and 3, and 4C mean, So yeah, especially coming from my mom. My mom is, everybody say I got Indian in my family, but we actually do. But unfortunately, I got my daddy's side of it, and my mama and everybody else in my family got all this pretty hair. It's in water touch it. It just, it just flows. I mean, they can do wash and goes, and it's just beautiful. Me, on the other hand, if I got to twist that thing up, add some, curl moisturizer and all kinds of stuff. So I think that's a big, big thing that you brought up, because it's always been a problem for me. But, or even like in my job, I would have to change my hair as well because of that. So yeah.
Ebony, since it's fresh, I want to go to you. How about you? What's your experience?
I have very similar experiences to Lauren, especially with the hair. I've been natural since I had my first son, and to be honest, the last few years my hair has been about the same length. Maybe 2 years ago, I started experimenting with crochet braids, and that's the first time I actually started wearing weave. And I didn't start getting male attention until I started wearing the weave. There would be so many people that would tell me I was cute, but as soon as I put that picture up when I get them crochet braids in, oh, you so beautiful, oh, you so fine, when can we go out? But as soon as I'm back like this, they gonna go. So when next time you getting your hair done? I had somebody actually ask me that like the day after I took my hair out, and I'm like, why? I'm gonna keep my hair out for about 2 weeks. Like, my hair is gonna breathe. What's wrong with my hair? If you don't like my hair, you claim you was attracted to me with my hair, but as soon as you see me with the crochet braids, now all of a sudden you love the big fluffy hair. I love natural hair, but I'm gonna be honest. I grew up in a family where I was the only one that had natural hair. It came after I moved. I was pregnant. I was going to school full time and working full time, and I didn't really have time or the money to get my hair done. So I just used to keep a bonnet on my head, and I would just walk around like that. So unknowingly, I was transitioning. And after I had my son in the hospital, I asked my cousin to cut all my permed ends off, and I went natural. After that, my folks clowned me, talking about them BBs, talking about I couldn't do nothing with my hair, talking about you need to do something to your hair. Like, it was always something, always. I couldn't wash it and do nothing, couldn't dry it and do nothing, couldn't dye it, couldn't put it up in a ponytail. So I had to just go. Then it got to a point where I started learning to do a little little something here, little something there. I started watching YouTube videos. And I'm going to be honest, YouTube saved my life. If that YouTube community had not already started with the natural hair trends, I don't know where I would be with natural hair. I ain't saying I'm the most beautiful person in the world with the natural hair, but baby, I done learned some things. And I definitely can pull off a puff and be one of the most beautiful things in the room and not even worry about it. But soon as a man come up and try to compliment me on my hair, they don't know how to do it because they're not used to it. Like you said, Lauren, they used to the long weaves, or they used to if it's natural hair, it's the long natural hair that goes down to your shoulders and it's bouncing in the wind and it's all moisturized 24/7. That ain't the hair I got. You see this? My hair do this. It springs. This is what it does. And I feel like there are some men that are attracted to it, but I also feel like it helps me to find somebody that's really for me, because if you can accept all of me, not just me when I have my crochet braids in, not just me when I'm out at the club, but also me when I'm sitting in the bed with a t-shirt and some boxes on with my natural hair out. Like if you can't look at me at 5 o'clock in the morning while I'm asleep, you ain't gonna be able to stick around, because that's the natural me. And to be honest, I'm actually glad I went down this journey, because I've come to a point of being able to love myself in a way that nobody else can ever love me. And it's most of it started with my natural hair.
That was heavy, but very well said. And Ebony, you're beautiful. Don't let them tell you anything otherwise. You know that though.
I want to say something really quick. When a woman do something to her hair, you better pay attention, because that means something drastic is coming. She finna boss up. She finna do something. She feeling herself. Like, it's really a thing. That's probably why I'm coloring my hair now. I feel like I got a new empowerment going on or something. But yes, that is definitely a thing.
Okay, so since you said that, I'm gonna have to pause my thought for a second. I want to know why y'all cut y'all hair off and then y'all go buy $300 wigs. Why do women do that?
Unfortunately, I cannot answer that. I think they're fools. But I cut my hair off the first time because I felt liberated. Like she said, it made me find a whole new love. Like when I feel like I'm going through some situation in life, whether it be in a relationship, where I'm talking to somebody and they kind of make me feel like an ounce of like, dang, that, maybe I do need to do something else. It's almost like a snapback in a sense. It almost like, bitch, you cute. You don't need that. Cut your damn hair. Like it's one of those moments, and it's like, oh, okay. But I think other people do it for their insecurities. Like you said, how they always follow the trends of people. People want to be just like celebrities so bad. Unfortunately, I'm not that person. I would rather have a Brahmin. I would rather have those shoes. I would rather have a shopping spree and spend that amount. I would rather have something that's going to last. I would rather have a new air fryer, than spend that money on some wigs. I want some longevity. What's going on with my money. So, but I think for them, it helps them recreate who they are. For me, cutting my hair was liberation. For them, getting wigs, I think is a recreation for them. Because like I said, when women do certain things to their hair, they're really going through something. It's a journey that they're trying to either go on or something they're trying to mask. And that's a definitely true statement. So that's my take on it.
Well,
Okay.
personally, for me, I see a video. I can't remember the name of the movie, but it was Sanaya Lathan. She was the main character. I cannot remember the name of it. I think it's Naturally Ever After. That movie, like it explained my journey so much. In the beginning, I was the person that had my hair permed every 3 to 4 weeks, baby. I had to have these edges laid. I had to have my body wrap. Anytime I went somewhere, I did not take this wrap down until I got where I was going. And it's so funny because I have completely changed from the person I used to be. I used to be the person that will always have to comb it down and then make sure that every hair is straight. get the oil sheen and all these other things, and make sure I had a little bitty bottle of Isoplus in my purse. I had to make sure I had the edge control. I had to make sure I had everything on me. So then when I go out in this humidity, if something happens, so I could put my hair back together. But now I'm the type of person, after I leave the house, how it look when I get there, that's it. That's how you gonna get it. Like, I let my hair do its own thing. I put a little product in it, brush it up, get that edge control still a little bit. That's it. I'm gone. And when I watched Sanaya Lathan's journey through the process, you know what I'm saying, from going to having the weave, having her hair permed, and I think she was a little girl and she got in the pool, and her mama was saying she didn't want her to get in the pool because she didn't want her to mess up her perm. But then she got in and messed it up anyway, and she got in trouble. And then it shows her going to, you know, having the weave and everything. How certain men perceive you, it's for some reason it's status associated with the weave. I don't know why. Like she said, it could be because of necessarily the stars and whatnot, but I feel like it's deeper than that. I do feel like it's because of, you know, the long silky white hair. But yeah, I do feel like it's a piece of status for some reason for women that do that. But it depends on, like y'all were saying before, it depends on how you grew up. For me, that's how I grew up. But at first, I loved my grandma's natural hair, but she had that silky natural hair. My mom, them, they had it too, but it wasn't as silky as my grandma, so they would get perms more often. My grandma only got perms like 2-3 times a year. And so after I did go natural, I was realizing that I didn't have the type of hair that I thought I did. So I had to learn so much. Like I said, I had to learn stuff about myself. I had to learn stuff about my hair. But I remember I named my hair when I first went natural, and I used to talk to it. So when I would put the products in and whatnot, I would have this song that I would sing to my hair. And it was like I was nurturing my hair like a baby. And that's what I was. That's what it was. That relationship that I had, it was like I was nurturing myself as an infant too. It was correlated. You know what I'm saying? It's just funny how I look at things now, but looking back now, I realize why I did this.
So from the male perspective, which I don't have any anymore, but I had hair for about 16, 17 years. And I remember like Black Elder, if you will, that was in debutante program. Well, the Laboratory Militaire, which is like the male, debut type thing or whatever they have here. And I had my hair, and I just remember the lady telling me I would never be anything as long as I had long hair. Now, bro, I am like 17 years old, and you got this grown woman telling me I won't ever be able to do anything I want to do, like join professional organizations or join a fraternity. Ha! Did both of them, but like from that point, I took it personal, like to set out and just prove her wrong. And but I also think back to that, and it stuck with me because you think about even the cases that we're having now where there's discrimination against people with locks, and how you have to have your certain hair, what's business professional hair. All of that I feel like kind of flows into the colorism topic too, and even just the topic of hair, whether it be male or woman. Wyatt, I'm coming to you, brother.
So I just started having hair, so I'm kind of new to all of this. Like I just usually had like a bald fade up until like I literally, and then I went bald for a little bit because I didn't have nothing else to do. Like, and I had enough head to be able to do it. So like when it came to like preference for women, like me personally, as long as you was all right, like your hair didn't bother me like one way or the other. Like me personally, like as long as I'm not getting blasted in the face with flakes in the morning, like I'm good. So like natural, if you got braids, you got straight hair, man, like that's it. So I get sometimes how certain people feel a certain way about hair, but like to me, I mean, be honest with you, man, I feel like there's too much shit to really be worried about than to be worried about hair and somebody else's color. Like we in the same struggle together. So like when these other races see us, they don't see a light-skinned black person and a dark-skinned black person. They just see a nigga. So I don't really, you know what I mean? Uh, I'm more like that Carlton, or when he did get into the fraternity, he's like, well, why are you holding me back then? You know what I'm saying? So I'm just, man, I grew up a little bit different than other people. And I was really sheltered in a whole lot of situations, but you know what I mean? It just came to a point of, you know, this person had this hairdo, this person had that one. It didn't really matter. Like, as long as they were happy with it. And I think a part of that is just being confident with who you are. Like, I just want to say to the women, like, I'm sorry y'all had to deal with this shit. Like, y'all done had some horrible dudes. And like, I feel like, you know, I'm glad, you know, some of y'all have gone through it, some of y'all are going through it now, but like, man, y'all deserve better. So, you know, on behalf of all men, especially all black men, like, we needed to do better in how we treat y'all. But in the same instance, I want you to be able to know that, you know, you're loved, no matter if you got bald heads, if you got no hair, if you only got like 3 hairs like those cartoons, like it's whatever. So or even if you got the long like Indian hair, even if the hair's not yours. So it don't really matter. So just you know, we love you. That's it. That's all I got. Oh, one other thing. Ebony, where's your hair's name, Harriet? I had to get a dad joke. Oh God, I was thinking about it and I was trying to type it and I couldn't get it fast enough. But if your hair's name was Harriet, I was gonna die laughing.
No, it was not. It was Queen Sheba. Thank you.
Okay. All right. Just wanted to know. All right. Now I'm really done.
I was finna say, here he go being light skinned, and he come cracking dad jokes. Hey, we're gonna go to Jared, and then I'm gonna let Sir. I want you to close us out, okay?
Uh, I love natural hair. I love it. I love everything about it. Like, I'm not a fan of weave. I'm not a fan of makeup. I don't like none of that. I need you to come at y'all like they tell you to go to church. You know what I'm saying? Like, I just need you to be you. You know, because all that makeup and all of that, you know, when you go to sleep at night, you're not gonna have all that on. You know, so the same way you gonna wake up in the morning, that's the same way I want to see you all the time. I almost get upset when my wife put makeup on because I don't want to see that. You look good. You don't need it. You know what I'm saying? And natural hair. I hate when she get weed. You know
You
what I'm
gonna do
saying?
it.
But she don't want me. She don't want to stay up all night twisting her hair and doing all that. Look, man, I tell you, man, I done helped a couple times. I had to take a lot of breaks. You know what I'm saying? It's hard work helping her to twist that hair, man. I done quit on her a couple times. So if we ever wonder why a lot of them don't wear their natural hair, that's because they don't want to put the work in. Cause I ain't a fan. But I do when she take it out and she getting ready to get her hair did again in the next couple of weeks. I do enjoy the couple of weeks that I get to see her natural hair when she gets the puffs and stuff like that. It's just beautiful. You know, but I do not want to. That man, my fingers is hurting, man. You know what I'm saying? It's hard, man. But man, and I did go through a stint. Me and my cousin RJ, man. Me and him, we was going to the beauty supply on Government Street, and we was getting the little things that supposed to make your hair curl up. We was getting like little curling kits, man. And had my grandma and them putting them in because we wanted to curl up like everybody else. But man, that just ain't what it is. But man, I hate that. I do hate that, you know, weave and all that's supposed to be some kind of status because no matter what kind of weave you got, how long it is, if you as a person is terrible, I'm gonna tell you your weave weak anyway. You know what I'm saying? Your personality got to make the weave look good. Because if you if you're a terrible human, you need to take that horse's hair back. So that's see, but my wife, she's a good human, so it look good on her. You know what I'm saying? But if if you one of them ones walk around here thinking you know what I'm saying, you God's gift to the earth, then you a terrible human. That weave don't look good on you. You know what I'm saying? You look like a clown with all that makeup on all of a sudden. You feel me? So, but hey man, but that's my take on it, man. Everybody just be who they is. I love a person who can be themselves. You know what I'm saying? And once you learn to love yourself and learn how to be you, you'll only get better. You know, so that's all I got.
Yo, so this is hilarious. So I'm gonna piggyback on a couple things everybody said. So I too have duked in high school. I wanted the curly hair, and I had longer hair in high school. So my stuff was like kind of straight. You know what I'm saying? Like whenever my hair got long, it was like straight. So I'm like, man, I want my shit to be curly. You know what I'm saying? Let me go get this Duke, and get mine to put it in. And that's when I found out the intensity of the curl, depending on how long you left it in. And if you don't read the directions, you'll be out here looking like a wet baby bird. So my first Duke, bruh, went extreme, left that thing in for about 45 minutes. Now, if you know, like I know now, you're supposed to leave that thing in about 10, 15 so it could look kind of realistic. Whole 45, bro. I remember because it was 1.5 episodes of The Simpsons. And I washed it out, bro. It looked like I put shoe polish in my scalp, bro. It looked terrible. Terrible. No amount of do-ragging helped your boy out on that day. But so I said all that to say is like hair can become an identity. And that's the thing about it. So on one spectrum, I appreciate my sisters for embracing what they envision as beauty, whether it be natural or it be, going to get the extensions or the wigs or whatever it may be. Do what makes you feel better, but understand that your beauty can't be bought. That's the thing that I think we want to hit on. Your beauty is natural, and that's what we appreciate from our women. The other thing is, I'm going to be honest, transparent moment number 11,002. I hated natural hair in college. Could not stand it. But I had a good reason. I had a particular ex who bamboozled me. It was the good old bait and switch. I didn't know what was going on. But it created a rift with me where I didn't care for it going forward. And that was my issue, not yours. So to Black women, I apologize. I used to harp on natural hair and called it lazy and all this stuff. But bruh, like why I just started my lock journey. And let me tell you something. Let me tell you something. Learning about what hair products work for you, learning about dry scalp, learning about humidity. Let me tell you about humidity. You can have the best hair in the world, but if you go outside in Mobile, Alabama, at any time after 11 a.m., your hair is bound to frizz. Now, I didn't know what frizz was at first. I was not aware. So, because I like to go walking in the park across the street, you know what I'm saying? That's how I get my exercise. I do one lap. I take off my do-rag, and I look like a Super Saiyan low-key. You know what I'm saying? So I understand the plight. The patience it takes, like Jared said, and shout out to Jared for coming and being a guest. We appreciate you, brother. Like Jared was saying, it's a lot of work that go into it. And like Ebony was saying as well, I commend you for naming your hair. And I'm not even being funny, because you have to love it as if it was your child, because it's an extension of you. So just like people name they for JJ, just like sometimes we nickname our body parts, there's nothing wrong, nothing foreign about naming your hair. So loving it as if it was an extension of you, which it is, I'm with it. I think we should make that shit a trend, quite frankly, to make it a point. I think it should be cool. You know what I'm saying? Everybody should have, because I mean, just like Lauren said, when a woman changes her hair, she's essentially changing her. You know what I'm saying? Like it's a new chapter. So why not name the hair itself? Because if you're leaving that part of you behind and you're embracing this new year and embracing this new hair, why not give it an identity? But over and all, man, yeah, it took for me to get in those shoes in order to truly appreciate what you guys experience and what it means. Because bruh, moisturizing every day is not easy, bro. Maintaining a moist scalp is easier said than done. And finding these oils, and first off, let's talk about these hair stores that's got varying prices on the same products. Because I done got some vitamin E oil for $4.99, $2.99, and I think $6.99. Same brand, same bottle, just different places, different prices. So I don't appreciate that. And I don't like that about y'all hair stores. But anyway, I digress. But yeah, that's my take on it, Eterniti. That's how.
All right. Well, that being said, this is SquadGoals Colorism edition. I want to thank Sir and all of our panelists for this evening for coming and taking part. I thank you for allowing me to be your special guest host for this evening. And once again, for SquadGoals, I'm Eterniti. We out.
Adolescent Adults is a hilarious podcast. It centers around pop culture, love, relationships, anything that pertains to the millennial life. Adolescent Adults is hosted by Mariah Lynn and BJ Hoke, and they bring you new, fresh content every single week. Check us out on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and SoundCloud. Also, follow us on Instagram and Facebook at Adolescent Adults Podcast.
This is Mystique.
This is Mr. Everlasting.
And we are your hosts of the Safe Word Podcast.
Safe Word. Y'all be sure to tune in to us every first and third Friday on SoundCloud. Go like and share and subscribe that Facebook page at the Safe Word Pod.
As well as go look us up on Instagram, the Safe Word Podcast 69, for all our giveaways, lives, and other amazing multiplicitous information.
Get ready for salacious material, y'all.